everybody. It's me, Dragon. Um, Hello. Hey, Lotus, Iris, Ralph, the Bat Mom, Space Cow, Blue Crossroads. How's everybody doing? I saw Nightmare in here earlier. Hey, Jules, Bill H. How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good night? Hey, Traz. So, I guess we're going to be talking about people killing aliens. This should be good. Hey, UFO Michigan, or Michigan UFO. Always say it wrong.
All right.
She couldn't take it anymore.
Hold on a minute. Wait. What's up, everybody? So I'm like, listen, you go in and just pretend like it's just you and see how long it takes for someone to ask for me. But I see him, he's so nervous, and he's like, and plus, I really couldn't take it anymore. I had to jump in and take over, as I do. What is up, you guys? I'm so happy to see you all. He did good. We got to get him more used to being in front of the camera and talking, though, because, you know, like I always say, Wednesday nights, I'm the one that does the talking, but I'm trying to make this an inclusive show, but it's hard for me to stop talking once I get started, as you guys know and love about me. So let me say hi to everyone myself. I've got a couple
when you ramble.
Little things I want to show you guys, just some cute little things I received as gifts, and my new background, which I had up but didn't realize how small it was, so it was like this big. So,
like, hey,
Lotus Girl, what is up? My soul sister from another Mr. Eris, Ralph and Cassie Francis, the Batmom. Batmom, be very careful. Batmom got a random call from not only New Jersey today, but Paterson, New Jersey, which is my hometown that I'm so proud of and I love so very much and desperately, but that I will not step foot into. So if you got a weird phone call from Paterson, New Jersey, and now someone's trying to sign on to your info on PS4, change all your stuff. No lie, no BS. It is a town of thieves and thugs. I'm just saying. I was one of them for a long time. A lot of my family still are, some of them. Blue Crossroads and Shauna. Shauna, if Shauna is listening, or Blue, if you could please pass on the message. I've got, when I send out gifts at, I guess it'll be next week. So like I told you guys, I can't do it till after Christmas because of fundage, but I'm going to try to send some extra special healing stuff to her and just all the love and light in the world. You guys are my relationship goals. And I just think the people in this stream in general are like some of the best people I've ever had the absolute pleasure of meeting in my whole life. And when I see some of you guys feeling down or sick or dealing with what you guys are dealing with, it really does hit me in a certain spot in my heart that I just wish I could just go there and just, you know, wave a magic wand, pun intended, to make it all better. But if there's anything humanly possible that I can do, you make sure and reach out to me. Bill H, Jules Fatsit, Yaritza Torres, Michigan UFO sightings and paranormal encounters. I was planning on reaching out to Michelle and letting her know that favor I was doing for her friend. I had forgotten about it. And then as I was going through my pictures, I saw the picture that she had sent me from her friend. So Wayne and or Michelle, if you're either one of you are still in here and listening, let her know I'm going to be taking care of that right after Christmas, probably the weekend of New Year's Eve. So like that Friday, Saturday, around in there. I've already been connecting with the person the friend needed me to connect with. So to full blown bring them in and get to the bottom of it. I did forget, but I'm back on the case now. And I appreciate her being so patient with me. Cowie Snyder Nutslap. So I was looking for the case, bizarre and spectacular cases of people who claim to have killed aliens. And you mentioned a really interesting case where someone had brought in a samurai sword. And I was like, I've got to find this one. And lucky for us, it was already in my information. Richard Elmore. Let's see. Smoochy. Oh, how's that little grandbaby? Shelly Montgomery. Hi. So good to see you. Jules Facets. I don't know if I said hi yet, but I definitely don't want to forget you. Chris Jarvis. Pam Smith. Hello, Mama. I did get your message, but I was getting ready for stream, and I didn't want that to be a quick snap conversation, obviously, because I know that you need me. So I will be there for you, just not when I have to do a rush job. Bruce Hansen. Hi. Okay, so one thing I want to say is everybody in here except Space Cow, Eris, Bill H, Yuritsa, Cowie, even Wayne and Michelle, and I'm a little upset about this. Shelly Montgomery. Okay, so there are quite a few of you. Chris Jarvis. If I'm calling your name, Bruce Hanson, Richard Elmore, Pam Smith, all the people whose names I just said, I do not have your address and do want to mail you a Christmas card. Everyone I did not mention just now has a card in the mail. I mailed them out today. I want to show you guys a couple.
Mine in the basement here.
This is Toby. I found this little dragon ornament. I thought it was so cute. And the reason I wanted to show these to you guys is because, well, I mean, let's face it. Who is this? A pinkish reddish headed mermaid? I'll give you guys one guess. Reminded me so much of Maraid. I had to keep her on my altar. She's really something special there. And then we've got this guy. These are all my new pieces. That's why I'm showing them.
That's my little brother.
We don't have a name for him yet.
Call him Kevin.
I was going to call him Ricky. What's my dad's name?
Oh.
Although your Kevin have a lot of similarities. This is Hans. I wanted to name him David, but RJ said Hans. Nick White, what's up? I need your address as well so I can send you a Christmas card. So I got a few gifts, this shirt from Ghost Dragons, and I always like to thank you guys when you send me gifts whenever I can. I wanted to name this little guy Ricky, but RJ named the dragon that Ghost Dragon sent me that I forgot upstairs and haven't showed you guys yet. I wanted to name him Drakvar because Drakvar is like this mythical dragon being who encompasses all the good and all the bad in nature and in the world. But RJ decided he was Ricky, so it is what it is. Yuritsa, please use email. I did figure out the little glitches with the Gemma Jade paranormal email because Facebook Messenger, I get the weird feet people and I just don't want to deal with them. And then I got this really awesome gift from Nutslap. I don't have all of it here with me. I forgot the steampunk purse upstairs, but guys, that's cool. It's a steampunk purse.
It's cool.
It's pretty freaking awesome. And RJ loved it so much, he carried it to the store for me the other day because it's like RJ size. It's like a little one, but it's an over-shoulder bag. I got to show you guys Wednesday night. I got these really cool skull earrings, which he also really, really appreciated, my son. I got a Dragon's Blood Jasper Worry Stone, which is really cool because it goes with the sphere that I have. That's why
he sent you that one.
Did you send me that one?
Yep. That was the first thing I sent you.
Oh, I was thinking of the Dragon Septarian stone that I have, which, by the way, I just realized how powerful Dragon Septarian actually is. I need to use that a lot more. I got this really awesome piece of olive opal, which I have it raw. And it's funny because the difference between raw olive opal and apparently tumbled is huge, right? This beautiful piece. It's just so pretty.
It is pretty.
And then I got another Merlinite angel.
Ralph.
Which is really cool.
I like angels. I almost bought you the whole set.
What's up, Crowley? Yeah, I just love them. I have turquoise. I send those out a lot.
I sent you a white and blue one, didn't I?
In the gift boxes, I send those out a lot. No, you sent me the turquoise one.
Okay.
And this guy's Indigo Gabbro, also Merlinite, but a different variety, the skull. I had two other blue apatite crystal skulls that I gave one to each of my older sons. You will not see me part with this. This is my favorite stone, the Indigo Gabbro Merlinite. Maybe olive opal now too. They're all my favorite. But I just want to thank you guys so much for the gifts, the cards, just the well wishes. And then one last thing is the background. I want to get used out of this before I put the mushrooms back up after the holidays.
That's upside
down. But it's really cute. And I love snowmen. I just love snowmen. So, all right. Who else came in? Crowley. I knew it. He goes, I don't know what the rocks were, but they looked cool. They're always rocks. The incense, the resin incense. He's like, you sent me a bag of rocks. I'm like, No.
You should have sent him a little book too. You should find the little books.
Well, no, do you know what I want to start doing with my packages? I didn't sell any holiday boxes, but just for the boxes in general, the spiritual helper boxes, I need to set this laptop, now that I'm at my mom's, I can do it, up to a printer. And then whatever is in your box, you're going to have a detailed list signed by me. And I always put a little card in there. You know, I'm really meticulous about the things that I send in those boxes. That's why even when the website does go up, yeah, even when the website does go up, it's like everything's not going to be exact, because if, you know, box A comes with these 15 things, I'm going to feel out your energy and be like, nope, they also need that. And they definitely don't need this. So, you know, that's why it's hard for me to explain to you guys what I put in. I can just say, small and tumblestones, medium crystals, lots of selenite going around. I've got heart-shaped selenite, Hamza-shaped selenite. You know, I've got altar bells and teaspoons and resonance and so. I mean, I just have anything and everything I can get my hands on that I see all over the place, either online, thrift buys. I'll throw this guy in there if I think someone needs him. Everything that I send to you guys comes from my altar. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit hesitant to list what comes in each box. And Steven knows that's been my problem from the very beginning. All right, Nick, I'm sorry I'm boring you. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Go and feel better. Yes, Lotus Girl, absolutely customized. But I think what I'm going to do is I should have most, if not all of the rest of my inventory and business labels by next week. So by next Friday, I should have it all. I'm going to give the option, and I'm going to really stress that customized is going to be better, because you could end up with, you know, something like this if you allow me to customize it. Whereas if that's not on the list and you don't want a customized box, I'm just not going to send you that. I'm just not gonna. We've got another representation of one of our viewers here, a little white and gray wolf. He's missing a leg though. And then the last things before we get into so I think I've showed you guys him before. That's Snowball. And this is Snowflake, my little love owls. Love those little cuties. And that's about it. So now that I've rambled about absolutely nothing for a little bit, I guess we can get on with the show.
Yes, every box. She tries to customize the box to everybody's needs. She's really good about it.
And
she
you know,
perfectly, and I didn't tell her a thing.
You know, like I said, I'll take something right from my own collection that I've had either for years or that I just bought and be like, this person needs this more than I do, and throw it in there. That's why people are like, oh, you know, they're kind of expensive. And I'm like, yeah, but if you think about what you're getting and the fact that shipping is up, it's really not. So yeah, mic drop, bam. Yes, please send me your addresses, guys. I would really, if you send it on Facebook, now that Jarvis let me know he sent his on Facebook, I will go on Facebook and start looking, because I want to at least get cards out. I can't send gifts to everybody, but you know, I do have quite a list of gifts that I'm sending out. And yes, Gemma's personal.
She sent me coal, which is fine because I eat it.
Where's the crows? I don't have any. My mom's terrified of them, but I did just buy, I showed it to you, an urban crow oracle deck. So there's your representation. I also have two little bears.
Oh, she is, isn't she? I forgot she freaked out when a bunch of them landed in the yard.
Yeah, she's really freaked out by crows.
That's all right.
I think
a lady across the street from us that was afraid of butterflies. She called them dragons. She was terrified.
Hey, Bat Mom. Crows are bad news. I meant to say, hey, Mike Roberts. And I said, hey, Bat Mom. That's his Labradorite, Miss Lotus. Mike Roberts, what is up? I hope you're doing well. Been praying for you as well. What else? What was I going to say to Bat Mom?
I don't know. What were you going to say to her?
Smooshy, I can definitely do that. Where is she? I was going to say, keep it together, Gemma, that crows are bad news depending on really the situation and how you resonate them. So if you think of them as bad news, you're going to bring, it's just like with everything else, law of attraction. A lot of people love their energy. I love their energy. Mainly ravens, to be honest with you. Can you write down Crowley's address for me?
No.
One of your spirit animals is a crow. That's awesome. All right, guys. So here's what we're gonna do. One more quick thing. So sorry. Sorry. So I haven't been able to do 2 of these content streams a week. So what's most likely going to happen, and I'm still working on it, so give me till after New Year, is that we're going to do the Monday night stream like we're doing now from 8 to 10 Eastern, live content discussion, and then chill and chat. You know what I mean? It's really just like, let's talk about this and see where it leads us. This is kind of an opener. Not that I ever really need one. Wednesday night live Oracle, of course. And then Thursday, I'm going to try to put maybe a pre-recorded out in the mornings for you guys. And if we're able to stream, just as good, because I want to have those 2 content a week. And for some reason, the end of the weeks just keep getting more and more busy for me. And this is a really good time. So this is how I'm going to bring it in, just like I tried to do last week. I think we did okay. I'm just going to read you guys this article. It's, not very long, not very short. This is what we're talking about. These are the cases. I'm not in chat, but Stephen is. I'm going to take it away. From Mysterious Universe, the site Mysterious Universe, bizarre and spectacular cases of people killing aliens. There have long been these cases skirting about on the periphery of UFOs or aliens attacking people, and indeed this feeds into a long-held view fostered by science fiction stories that extraterrestrial intelligences just might be malevolent and out to invade us. Indeed, many alien abduction cases often feature terrifying elements that make them perfectly at home in any horror story, in which do not paint these entities as particularly friendly. But have you ever wondered if there were some people who turn the tide, and if there are instances when we win and get the upper hand? As a matter of fact, there are such cases, and here we will look at a selection in which people have managed to allegedly fight against and kill alien beings. We start here with a bizarre case from the spring of 1940 when a young boy named Robert Hall was playing with his friends in a maze of red brick Tyneside terraces along Saltwell Road in Gateshead, England. At some point, they decided to head home, and as they walked, Robert would claim that they had been confronted with a, quote, big egg-shaped thing surrounded by bright light, end quote. As the frightened boys tried to figure out what was going on, they then saw some very bizarre entities, all with different appearances. Very different appearances. Robert would claim that 3 of them looked like men, but were only 2 to 4 feet in height, while one, here you go, Smoochie, quote, looked like Bigfoot, end quote, and another, quote, had long flowing hair and a coat that partially covered a skeletal body and bat wings. Some of the boys ran off screaming, but Robert says he was so astonished that he stayed put. And that was when one of the creatures approached him and asked him in perfect English if they could examine him. He would say of what happened next, quote, I told them it was 1940 and we were at war with Germany. They took blood out of the back of my neck and put some jelly on. I kept my eyes shut. I was so frightened I was shaking. After 20 terrifying minutes, I was then allowed to go. I was up that street like a shot. My parents thought I was kidding, and so did the soldiers, end quote. So let's stop there. An alien, I'm sorry, every time I sit in front of this altar, I guess this room is really rife with spirit, and I didn't think to protect myself because I never do, because I'm usually reading Oracle here. So spirit is here and making my nose itch like an MFer. So, okay, so these strange creatures come up to him and ask him if they can experiment on him, and he decides to tell them that they're at war with Germany.
What do you say to that?
But I mean, I wouldn't be like, hey, Gemma Jade, can we draw some blood and experiment on you? It's 2022 and I'm a subpar semi-popular YouTuber. Like, like, I guess a little kid probably, maybe the explanation in his mind was like, how do I know these aren't the enemy, right? Because the little kid isn't thinking aliens.
Right.
Okay. Robert would then claim, and this is pretty interesting considering it happened in the 1940s. Robert would claim that the following day, some strange men in black suits had approached him and told him to speak to no one of what he had experienced. And a few days later, After this, he said that one of the aliens, this one looking like a typical gray alien with a thin frame, large head, and oversized black eyes, tried to kidnap him right on the streets in broad daylight. This would apparently not end well for the alien, as Robert's uncle saw the altercation and ran to the rescue, and he would say of it, quote, "He had big eyes and a large head. He was on me in a couple of seconds. I fell over the curb and bashed my toe." This is curb, Kerb.
Yeah.
"My uncle Ernie saw what was happening and bashed its head in with a coal shovel," end quote. I thought that was the uncle's interpretation, but it was a little boy.
Boy.
This apparently killed the creature, after which the uncle put the alien's dead body into a coal sack and notified authorities. He would further claim that the army was called in and the body taken to a church before being whisked away by the military. Robert would also say that he developed strange small triangular marks on his left cheek, which remained there until he was about 12 or 13 before disappearing without a trace. Robert Hall would keep the whole bizarre tale to himself for years before coming forward with it, upon which his case would become popular with ufologists, and he would begin appearing on the alien abductee circuit, giving lectures, and even appearing in a documentary on the odd events. The case is so intriguing because it predates most accounts of alien bodies being taken away by the military, and UFO researcher Richard Hall has explained of it, quote, "It is a fascinating story, and it is a very, very early case in terms of modern-day gray alien abductions." Other abduction cases were reported in Brazil in 1957 and in the United States in 1961, increasing throughout the 60s and 70s. There is a case of a recovered UFO in Missouri where small alien creatures were allegedly recovered, and obviously we have got Roswell in 1947. So this was before Roswell. But this predates all of that, which makes it a very interesting case. Interestingly, Robert says the creatures had a short white handheld device which could subdue or immobilize somebody, and there's the triangular marks that were left on his face. These are all things that we find in abductee cases again and again. Robert's description of the creatures, the small stature, the gray skin, the large eyes, the craft itself, elliptical shape, and the metallic surface with the bright light are common features of alien abduction stories. There's also the fact that they tried to interfere with Robert's neck. I don't believe that they took blood, as Robert claims. They were possibly trying to put something in, end quote. Now, this is what happened in Robot Granny, where the grandmother said she was kind of abducted. Hey, the cat. Mr. Eon, hi.
Hey, you see what they said? Here, let me put that
Mr.
up there for you.
Eon, so perfect. Yes. You're so welcome. You are so very welcome. And that's amazing. And please keep me posted, if not us posted, on how that goes. I know that's a really exciting thing. It happened for me a year and a half ago. And it's really one of the most amazing feelings in the entire world. So congratulations. So with Robot Granny, and I talked about this in an interview with Dave Scott last October, like 2021 October, I talked about it on After Hours. It was one of the first cases that we did. I think After Hours. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
And I also talked about it here. So, okay, Mr. Eon, I definitely will. What's your name on there, though? And what the grandmother said, provided we believe that entire story, I definitely do, but provided we do, was that when she got into like the trance in the middle of the night, when she woke up, she and her friend, depending on, again, the story that you heard, had these needle marks in the back of their necks, and they just assumed that blood had been taken. But what if something was implanted?
Which is highly possible, because that's very known.
So, that gives this a little more credibility to me, not, the
right. Well, and they always mark the people they experiment on.
And the fact that this happened, like that one guy said, like before even Roswell, to come forward with something like this.
Oh, and they're finding more cases like that before the actual Roswell incident.
You guys do know, I mean, I think most people know this, but I feel like I sound so smart when I say this, that our blood is actually blue. It only turns red because of the oxygen.
Right.
That's why you'll never see blood as blue ever, except when you see it in your veins, because as soon as it hits oxygen, it turns red. Okay, let's go back to this. Another another interesting case of people allegedly killing aliens supposedly occurred in 1978 at Fort Dix, New Jersey, in the United States. According to a retired Air Force Major George Filer III, a decorated former intelligence officer for the 21st Air Force Military Airlift Command at the adjacent McGuire Air Force Base on the morning of January 18th of that year, he arrived at the base for an intelligence briefing for his superior officers and immediately noticed that the whole area was locked down in a high security alert state. When he spoke to the superior officer there, things would get very strange indeed, of which he says, quote, "The senior master sergeant runs everything, from who sweeps the floors to organizing the staff schedules and making sure phones and faxes are up and running. He was agitated, his face was pale, and his eyes were wide open. Then he said the strangest thing. An alien has been shot at Fort Dix, and they found it on the end of our McGuire Air Force Base runway. I replied, was it an alien from another country? No, it was from outer space. A space alien, the sergeant explained. There are UFOs buzzing around the pattern like mad," end quote. Filer claims that UFOs had been apparently buzzing the base for several days, and then in the early hours of the morning, a military policeman had gone off in pursuit of a strange, low-flying aircraft of some sort, described as being oval-shaped and emanating a blue-green glow. This strange craft had then swooped down to hover directly over his vehicle, and at that instant, a 4-foot-tall creature, gray and brown in color, with a large head, long arms, and a thin body, had emerged from the darkness to amble into the headlight beam. The panicked MP had then drawn his firearm and ordered it to stop, and when it ignored this order, the man fired upon it 5 times and killed it. The creature's body, which was described as giving off a foul-smelling, ammonia-like stench, was then supposedly whisked away by a cleanup crew from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, which also serves as the headquarters of the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, and has not been seen since. Filer, who did not see the alien body personally, insists that he knows for a fact that the story is true and has written of it in his book, Strange Craft, The True Story of an Air Force Intelligence Officer's Life with UFOs. Was there anything to all of this or not? The issue I have here is the thought of, and it could happen, I'm sure. I mean, what do I really know, especially about extraterrestrials in outer space? But the thought that keeps coming to me when I think of this is, how are extraterrestrials being so easily obliterated by our lowly human weapons, right?
Well, they're just as fragile as we are from what everything I've read. They're, I mean, they may have the technology to protect themselves, but, if they're caught off guard, or just assume that we're that dumb.
You know what? Blue Crossroads, I didn't know that, but that makes perfect sense. Blue Crossroads said,
right there's spinal fluid, everything. They can get to everything right there.
Yep. Back of the neck is closest to base of skull and start of spine. This is the perfect place to obtain pure DNA from the spinal cord. I didn't know that, but that is really interesting. Excuse me. And makes so much sense because of, like, I've read a lot of stories to you guys, maybe not a lot, but at least a handful of people who have claimed to have been abducted or had a strange dream and woke up with marks on the back right in the middle of their neck. And I was always like, why there? Wouldn't that be a hard place to put a needle? It'd be painful, but it doesn't matter. They don't really understand pain. Most of them don't. They understand it as a concept, but they don't. So why wouldn't they go there?
Yeah, because if you have a spinal tap, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant.
Bat Mom, I've gotten hit with some stuff. I've got hit with a pipe and didn't die. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, but I guess it does depend on the species. Pam Smith, I didn't know that either. Pam Smith says,
oh, I see
it takes 5 to 7 years for your body to replace any spinal fluids removed. And the cat, tech malfunctions. And then he said 99% of the time we don't have any chance of seeing craft. I don't know that that's a fact, but I agree with you. Like, it makes sense. I always joke about the alien Bob who, like, forgot to turn on the cloaking. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas, but she's like, did you turn on the cloaking? And he's like, yes. And he clicks it on and everyone's staring at them. She's like, you just did it right in front of me, because, like, he forgot to do it. I always joke about that guy.
There's probably a few out there.
But I think there possibly are some extraterrestrials. Like I've seen this before where, they turn into dust, like the Fae, allegedly, and from everything that I know, when you kill a fairy, we're all energy, right? But we're also body. They're pretty much all energy. So when you obliterate them, they poof back into energy, into dust, basically,
Right.
just to, I guess, recommingulate or
You're
whatever somewhere else. So I'm wondering if it's like that with some extraterrestrials as well. They can't all be superhuman, right?
No.
I guess they could be, but all right.
Well, you got to think of the planet they live on, because they adapt. They're
Yes.
to the planet they live on. So it depends on what kind of planet they live on is going to be what type of species you're dealing with.
That's actually true too, and that's a lot of reason when either I channel or I see other extraterrestrial races and species channeled, or even just in my research bringing you guys videos. It's always like, why are they making hybrids? A lot of the time it's, do you hear that?
What is it?
I don't know. I'm just going to ignore it. A lot of the time you don't, totally lost my train of thought here.
I know it did. It got me off guard too.
It actually sounds like a boob ghost going, ooh. Like that's literally what that.
It did.
It did, right? It
I actually thought it was coming from behind me.
No, it's coming from in my living room. Okay, so what was I going to say? What was I on?
I'm Melissa Wiggins.
Hey, Melissa.
Paused here, wondering about noises in the background.
What was it? Oh, a lot of the times I'll say something like, or I'll come across something about people or why are extraterrestrials, that's the thought, doing hybrids or hybridization seeding programs. And it's usually to save their race. But it's also, I've come to find, because they cannot, as they are, adapt to being on Earth. Why haven't they taken over yet? Well, 99% of them that I've come across, and I've probably only come across 1% of all of them, is they cannot live here without some kind of body or human hybrid.
Right. Well, it's just like everybody says they're terraforming the planet. You know what terraforming is? And it's possible. I mean, look at the crazy weather. Anything is, but Mother Nature's also doing her job too.
For people who don't know, not everyone will know what it is. Explain it.
What?
Terraforming.
Terraforming is when you take an area or a planet and start introducing the environments that you would need for your species. Like if we would go, like you see in Aliens, those big, huge plants that they're in, like in Aliens too. What they're doing is they're adding oxygen, they're adding chemicals to the air. They're heating it and they're cooling it to change the atmosphere and to build an atmosphere.
So here's one that we've covered already on this channel, and again that I covered on After Hours. But I'm going to do it again because I always get a kick out of this. This is one of those episodes of After Hours that I go back and watch because me and Big Willie could not stop laughing, and even John Hudson couldn't stop. In another weird incident, one day in 1996, a doctor, Jonathan Reed, claims that his dog went missing after wandering off, after which he went out into the woods near his home to see if he could find it. As he walked, he allegedly saw a floating UFO in the shape of a spike, and when he eventually did find the dog, it was allegedly being attacked by a, quote, vibrating part reptilian, part gray alien, end quote. This bizarre entity then grabbed the dog's jaws and snapped them apart, and the animal then disintegrated into white ash. Reed then purportedly attacked the creature with a thick tree branch, bashing in its brains and killing it. He would supposedly then take a video both of the dead alien and its spacecraft before hauling the body home and attempting to dissect it, but its black spandex-like outfit automatically sewed itself up every time it was cut. Then he stuffed the corpse into a freezer, but it would disappear the next day for reasons unknown. Ever since then, Reed has claimed that he has been followed around by mysterious agents, and one poster and researcher by the name of Tommy Grand has said of his ordeal on Google Groups, quote, Reed has been on the run ever since. Wiping his eye, he admitted that he's been beaten up by the agents 3 times, and 2 of his close friends have been killed. He goes as far as saying his life has been ruined, that he has lost nearly all of the things he enjoyed before his encounter, such as a steady job, home, and girlfriend. Recently, he was shot in the shoulder after trying to wrest a gun from a stranger approaching him in a parking lot. The controversial contactee recently co-authored a book called The Link, which contends that mysterious agents are chasing Reed for a technology that the alien wore on his wrist. Something like a transmitter receiver, this hieroglyphic link bracelet turned from silver to black when Reed clasped it on the alien's arm. It is believed that the wristband served as a tracking device that maintained a connection with the alien's 9-foot-long granite-like craft, end quote. I just want to say, I'm not saying that Reed was a liar, because you guys know I never like to discount or discredit anybody's experience. But I will say this. In the original reports, and I did go and find them and read them, at least what I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure, were the original reports, okay? There was no mention of this wristband. Secondly, if you could see the pictures, and again, we didn't have time this week. Stephen, we really got to get on that. The alien that he took pictures of and claimed to have captured looked like it was made of paper mache. And that's what was so funny about it. Reed has apparently many times at lectures and on radio programs such as Coast to Coast AM, where he has continued to insist that is all completely true, but others aren't so sure. So guys, I am on this campaign. First of all, George Norrie is like my hero. I know, but I do love him and I want to get on there so bad. So everyone email Coast to Coast AM and tell them Gemma J needs to come on. Anyway, skeptics have maintained that the video is faked. And the case even was featured in a 2010 episode of the series Fact or Fate Paranormal Files, where it was deemed to be a likely hoax, mentioning that the footage was easily reproduced and that Reed's voice showed signs of deception when put to a voice stress analysis. While this does not necessarily prove it was all a sham, it has dented the credibility of Reed, although he still has a large number of believers. He also was not a doctor, as far as I can tell. He just kind of called himself that. Even more recent and perhaps most bizarre of all is the time when a guy killed an alien with a damn samurai sword. Here you go, Nutslap. In 2009, John Edmonds and his wife moved into a spacious 3,436 square foot ranch-style house on a 10-acre property called the Stardust Ranch in Rainbow Valley, Arizona, located on the extreme western edge of the metropolitan Phoenix. It was a luxurious dream home with 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a swimming pool, a gated entry, and plenty of space for their horse rescue operation. But almost immediately upon moving in, they began experiencing a plethora of strange phenomena and high strangeness. It began with strange lights in the sky, unidentifiable noises out in the desert night, and some unseen trespassers sneaking around on the property, and rather strangely, the furniture from the previous owner one day being found bobbing about in the swimming pool for no known reason.
Bob the alien?
I'm sorry?
Bob the alien?
Bob. Darn it, Bob. They then began catching fleeting glimpses of small, large-headed entities with oversized black eyes lurking about in the shadows of the property, and after this, the mutilations would begin. Edmonds claims that he found several horses from their rescue operation dead and with organs missing in a fashion typical of UFO cattle mutilations, which we've also discussed here. He also says that some of his dogs were ruthlessly slain in the same way. It would only graduate into increasing intensity from there. Before long, he claims that they were under siege by mysterious alien entities that would prowl about his property at night to peek into windows and actually come to him and his wife in the night to assault and perform medical experiments on them, leaving behind needle-like holes in their skin, bruises, and causing them to come down with mysterious illnesses. These creatures were described as basically being gray aliens, the classic description of large bald heads holding those almond-shaped eyes and with skinny frames, and he says they relentlessly prowled about his remote property. Edmonds believes they are interdimensional in nature and would say of these strange entities in an interview with Coast to Coast AM, quote, "I have heard and seen critters moving around on our enclosed sunroom. The west wall contains 4 large windows. The speed generated by their movement, 3 critters at once made the glass in the double-pane windows actually buzz and misalign in the frames to the point the windows are now very difficult to close and lock properly without using a screwdriver to realign them in the frame first. I believe the high-frequency buzz is a side effect of their partial in-phase and/or. Let me try that again. I believe the high-frequency buzz is a side effect of their partial in-phase or out-of-phase interdimensional travel. In a safe situation, critters transcend cleanly from one dimension to another. In what they perceive as risky circumstances, they only physically materialize to a point of just crossing the dimensional physical threshold. The buzzing occurs at a quantum level as they are partially in both dimensions at the same time. If they are suddenly startled, they pull back out of phase into their regular dimension. If they feel safe, they then come completely into this dimension and the buzzing stops. This is the perfect opportunity to physically grab one and then hold on as hard as possible because they will try to bug out again immediately, end quote. This reminds me of something I was watching recently about a woman who went to a spa in New Mexico and she pulled her back. So she saw a medicine woman who told her about the Lizzies, and then the entire town just buzzes all the time. But when you lay down at night in the quiet, and she didn't know this to bring like headphones or anything, it's all you can hear. Like you can't sleep. Taos, Taos, New Mexico buzzes like this allegedly constantly. And allegedly it's because of these Lizzies reptilians.
Right.
So Edmund says it got even scarier when these purported alien beings began assaulting and trying to abduct his wife, saying, quote, they actually levitated my wife out of the bed in the master chamber and carried her into the parking lot and tried to draw her up into the craft, end quote. Who calls their bedroom the master chamber? Like, are you Vlad the Impaler? She would often
in my master chamber.
I mean, I say master bedroom. I'll refer to it like the master, but master chamber, that's pretty cool. I'm going to start saying that. I'm going to be like, Raymond's, go and procure my liquor chalice from the master chamber. She would often show bruises.
When you
Yes.
get that humming, I just
Yes.
don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see it, but that's exactly what it is. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. She would often show bruises and scratches from these encounters. This was apparently the last straw for Edmonds, and he began fighting back against these otherworldly intruders with a samurai sword he kept hanging above the fireplace. Yes, you heard that right. He fought them with a katana. He would say of his first battle with one of these creatures, quote, I killed in self-defense after repeated home invasions by similar creatures over a period of many years. The assaults by these creatures were responded to in the most violent behavior I could respond with because of weekly and sometimes daily confrontations during which our home, ranch, horses, and dogs were killed. Pierced by the sword, with 6 inches of cold steel perforating the body cavity and seemingly lifeless, the gray alien still managed to disappear before I could withdraw the weapon and chop off the head. My intention in removing the head was to see if this would prevent it from disappearing. It is my hypothesis the head controls the ability to control the dimensional transference between one place to another. I had hoped to interrupt the process by diminishing the body integrity. I wiped up the blood/fluid and tissue of the gray I nearly split into 2 parts with an exceptionally well-sharpened samurai sword. End quote. How do you like him now? This guy is gangster, though. I wouldn't mess with him.
Yeah, he is. I'd probably do the same thing.
He would. I could literally see you doing that, though. Like, literally see you just tearing some alien butt up with katanas. He would then collect tissue and blood samples and purportedly send them to a researcher called W.C. Levengood for analysis, but who allegedly informed him that they were most certainly not only not human, but unlike anything seen before, even going as far as to say they were the smoking gun for the existence of aliens. Unfortunately for any of us waiting for concrete answers, this Leningood apparently then just sort of disappeared and took all the samples with him. How convenient. That, plus the fact that the alien managed to vanish after being damn near cut in half by a sword, leaves us with no physical evidence outside of photographs and the samples that Edmonds insists totally for real exist, and this ends up just another wild report with 0 corroboration. Indeed, he claims that they would always evaporate after death. Unsurprisingly, his tales remain unproven, and we are left to wonder just how much of this completely absurd report is true. It is certainly novel, though, attacking an alien entity with a samurai sword, and whether his insane story is true or not, he deserves points at least for creativity. Nevertheless, Edmonds would later claim on a 2016 episode of the hit show Ghost Adventures. Okay, so this guy's getting all kinds of like what I'm actually working towards in my life by saying he attacked an alien with a katana. Like, dude, guys, an alien just jumped through my window, but it ran into my Christmas tree and evaporated. Dang it. I should have used my Christmas tree as a background. Duh, Gemma. Anyway, 2016 episode of the hit TV show Ghost Adventures said he had eventually slain over a dozen of the malicious little entities during his time at the ranch in a similar fashion, always with the sword, despite his arsenal of handguns, shotguns, and even an AK-47 assault rifle at his disposal, and to the point he had gotten quite good at it. I wouldn't use the gun either because it would wreck the place. Like, at least with the samurai sword, you just get the blood and guts. Let me finish this up quick and then we'll discuss and chit-chat.
That's fine because this is hilarious. I love this story.
On occasion, he says he also incurred wounds from these fights, which he would post pics of to social media, and he also was allegedly frequently visited by the mysterious Men in Black. By now, the story was picking up widespread media attention, but considering how remote the property is and the fact that there was never any photographic or physical evidence offered up, people began having their doubts as to the mental stability of Edmonds. Podcasters Brian Frange and Phoebe Tyers would bring up on their show Unbelievable Podcast that it was possible that, considering Joyce Edmonds' claims of alien sexual assault and physical injuries incurred by them, that perhaps her husband was to blame and was making up or hallucinating this alien stuff as a cover. That's a lot, guys, to say that her husband is doing these things to her and he's, come on. Frange would say, quote, is John Edmonds abusing his wife in her sleep and then blaming it on the aliens? I'm not saying he's a sociopath, but he does display traits that could be classified as sociopathic. I want to know if this person's a doctor, and if not, they should not be allowed to be on YouTube. So I hope their Unbelievable Podcast is not on YouTube because I don't like this kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, back to the quote. It might not even be that he just cooked up a story about aliens in order to cover up the fact that he's beating his wife. There's a distinct possibility that he honestly believes aliens are abducting his wife and causing the bruises because subconsciously he needs to create a defense mechanism to allow him to view himself as a good person. I don't necessarily think John Edmonds is lying. I think he's telling the truth as to what he thinks it is, but the real truth is probably something else, end quote. First of all, this reminds me of Stephanie Harlow. Like, I'm just going to throw accusations out there because I can and I think I know everything. That's right. Not cool to accuse a man of something like that.
No. But at the same point, I mean, the guy may have a problem, but you're not going to know because you can't show receipts and you're going to be torn between the two.
This person saying it, though, is like first of all, claim that maybe he had a nervous breakdown or maybe he's seen something that isn't aliens or maybe he's trying to get famous. You don't accuse a man, and if he really does believe this and something else is going on.
Right.
He feels he's trying to protect his family, and she's accusing him of sexually assaulting his wife.
Yeah.
But that's going a little too far.
Yeah.
Right. I get that, but it's like, that's going a little too far for me. Like, you can even insinuate that if you want, but to come right out and say that, you don't know if this woman is actually, if they're actually having these experiences. And he claims to have been sexually assaulted as well. I kind of skimmed over that because I don't like talking about this kind of stuff, but he claims that too. So what if they are? What if they are? This podcast is called the Unbelievable Podcast, right? So they're talking about things that are unbelievable. This is somewhat unbelievable. But you don't go and accuse someone of being an R-wordist, you know? Edmonds has completely denied these claims and stuck by his story. And in the meantime, he says that he had enough of the ranch and its strangeness, putting it up for sale for an initial $1.7 million. However, considering the attention drawn to the ranch by the media and the appearance on Ghost Adventures, the price quickly skyrocketed to an eye-watering $5 million based on its bonkers otherworldly reputation alone. In that case, we should get a deal on my mom's house. The listing agent, Kimberly Garrow with West USA Realty, has said of the interest in the place, quote, there are thousands of people, both nationally and internationally, who follow the owner online and have strong beliefs about aliens and the paranormal. Reaching these people online to generate a buzz about the property has been my number one marketing strategy. This isn't the type of property that you can just place in the MLS and wait for a buyer to come along. Some are very intrigued and have no issues with the history of the property, while others are absolutely terrified about what may or may not happen to them if they should buy it. We've already got 3 interested parties, and the thing at least 2 out of the 3 of them have in common is that they're all true believers in UFOs and aliens. One potential buyer up in Iowa even told me she also had a personal experience with aliens and knows this kind of thing to be true. So those seem to be the type of people that are drawn to the property. Obviously, it is going to take a unique person who has a true curiosity and interest in the property's history. I have no doubt that there is a buyer out there for this special place, end quote. There's a lid for every pot, I guess. What were you saying?
I was just saying, is she killing them the same way? Because, if she says she's experienced something like that, did she kill one and they go poof too for her?
Maybe she just means the middle of the night experiences.
Which would be more than likely what I would incline. Night Crowley.
Night Crowley.
That'd be what I'd incline.
Edmonds himself would maintain his story, insisting it's all true, and it has all raised quite a lot of eyebrows. Just what is going on here? What are we to make of such off-the-wall claims? It certainly seems to be all the ravings of a delusional mind, but there have been other places that have been claimed to have such weirdness orbiting them as well, such as the infamous Skinwalker Ranch. It is hard to know what to make of such bizarre claims, and we are left to just sort of file them away into the unknown, forced to merely speculate. Was this the result of psychoses, hallucinations, unexplained phenomenon, or all of the above? Whatever one may think, killing aliens with a katana is still pretty rad, real or not. Is there anything to this or any of the other cases we have looked at here? Are there really people who have managed to kill these creatures? And if so, why is there no evidence? Ever. They are all damn strange cases, no matter what one may think, and show that despite an alien's advanced technology, sometimes there is no trumping a gun, stick, and or samurai sword.
Right. And Bill Asa, where's the bodies? Where he says they disappear. He kills them and they disappear. It's highly possible they're going interdimensional. Yeah. He makes him real credible, doesn't it? Nut slap. But if he kills them, who's to say if they're interdimensional? How does he not know before they hit the ground somebody's pulling it through and hiding the body?
Because that's what I think happens to the Fae. I think that's why we don't find any, at least not any credible cases or cases I find credible, minus the one case that I mentioned in Missing the Fae Theory. Yeah. I think that they disintegrate here, but just come back together in another dimension because they're not actually disintegrating. So Batmom, I'm not sure if they're still together, but he and his wife are probably together. Otherwise, she could come out and get just as much money for saying it was him. Do you know what I mean? What makes me a bit uncomfortable about this, though, is that the listing price was $1.5 million, and then he sees, not that I'm mad at him for it, but he sees all the interest and then blows it up to $5 million. So that kind of stuff bothers me because I feel like that's taking advantage of people.
It's all promotion.
But at the same time, I mean, he's able to do it, and they have 3 interested buyers, and I just don't know.
I would just like to know when the person buys the house if they have the same experience. I hope that person comes forward or document with cameras and stuff. Why didn't he ever put cameras up or anything like that?
That's true. That's actually really true. Why?
Even then, there were cameras available that he could put up.
Well, wait a minute. In 1996, though, was it really? I mean, they were available, but did people really do that? Because I know in the mid 90s, up until like the early 2000s, or even like mid 2000, from like 2010, 2011, the only time you'd find surveillance outside is at a traffic light or a bank.
Right.
So
but
maybe
still, it was accessible. I mean, if you really wanted to prove this was going on, heck, even if you took a VHS camcorder and set it in a corner where it could see everything,
that's true.
He would have video. He would have hard evidence.
Mike Roberts said maybe they're holographic. That's why their bodies seem to dissolve. There's theories the universe is holographic. Yes, and I subscribe a little bit to that theory. I don't get into it on here because YouTube also considers that mega conspiracy theory territory, but I do try to put glitch in the matrix stories for you all. So we did get full monetization for last Monday's video. Thank you, guys, for keeping it out of the conspiracy realm. But Mike, I absolutely agree. They could definitely be holographic. He did say, though, that tissue and blood and all that stuff were left behind, and he sent it to that guy who just disappeared off the face of the earth.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, that was Edmonds. Yeah.
But did he ever give you the results?
He said that it definitely wasn't human. and that it was unlike anything he had ever seen before, and it was going to be the definitive proof that the world needed to know that aliens, extraterrestrials exist. And then he disappeared off the face of the planet.
Okay. I did learn how to put pictures on.
Did you? Can we find
No,
George?
I was going to show you, and then we got talking.
Did you? Well, I wanted to finish the article so we can kind of just go into conversing. Did you find pictures of George Reed's alien?
No, I said I know how to put them on now. So if you have pictures, it's really easy to do. You go to present, and then you go down to screen share, and you put it on your screen, and you can share it off your screen. I believe that's how it works. That's how I was doing it. I was playing with it one day.
All right, hold on. Okay. So what do I do?
Okay, you go down to present.
Well, how do I get the? I save the picture on my.
Okay.
On my computer.
Yeah, but you can put it on your screen. Just put it on your computer. Go out and put it on your screen, and then click share.
Okay.
And then when you click share, you'll see Chrome tab, Window tab, an entire screen. Where if you hit Window, it will show everything that's on the. See, like here's chat. I can share chat. Look, see, watch, see.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I don't see share. I see present or invite.
On present.
Oh, on present. Share screen.
There you go.
Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Not really, though.
Well, see, I haven't learned how to make it bigger.
Let me take us out for a minute. Hold on. George Reed.
Can they hear you when you're off? I don't think they can hear us when we're off screen.
Yeah, I don't know. If you guys didn't hear me, I said look up George Reed, REED, alien photos. Bat Mom, I feel the same way about Miss Shelley. Miss Shelley is, and Shelley, not to talk about you like you're not here, but we've already discussed this. Miss Shelley, about 8 months, 10 months ago, we were in stream and doing Oracle, and Steven got a visit from a trickster and 2 extraterrestrials that everyone in chat who has the ability to see things like that, we all saw it. What happened is everything around my house, including everything I had on myself, the protections, the barriers, they were all blasted through. Steven was in prayer position for half the stream, and a couple people in our chat activated, like their abilities activated. Most of them have come to terms and been able to deal with them by now, but Shelley is forever tormented. And Shelley, I say it again, the more I try to help, the more confused I get by what's actually happening. So, seen a man pacing back and forth in Homestead. I don't know what Homestead means. Do you mean by me? Do you mean by you? Do you mean a place called Homestead?
Wait.
Bye, Bill.
Bye. Take care.
Yes. Jules, I can do that. Ghostdragonzw, can you make a note of that? Maybe we can do that next stream.
Yes, I will.
And Jules, I text messaged you your reading, and I also emailed it to you. So I had said to you, please let me know that you get this through text. So I don't know if I'm texting the wrong number or if you're just not responding or if you don't have me. I just need to know if I have the right phone number for you, because if not, I'll stop texting your readings to whoever's phone number it is. So just, send me a quick text saying, hey, it's me, or, whatever. But yeah, that would be interesting. We can get their opinion on it too.
Yes. Got it.
I don't know who did it. Somebody in stream definitely did it. And I have my suspicions now that I know who the traitor in my midst is. I wonder if that person came into the stream and did something to do what they did, or to cause what happened that night. but it was a pretty scary thing. I had to redo everything on my own home and property. And for something to get through that, that was pretty scary to me.
And it
And
left marks on him.
left marks on him. I fully believe that he and his entire family were abducted that night, which we haven't even discussed yet because we're not there yet. We've got so much other stuff going on. We haven't discussed the fact that he, his son, and father, probably the dog too, were all abducted that night.
It was, my whole night was weird in this house, big time.
Jules, thank you. And that is why, because of who I am as a human being, I need to start checking emails. After this, I've got to do some January readings, guys. Information about the price on personals is in the description box. And I was thinking, since I'm feeling nice through New Year's Day, I'm going to do another $20 shot at reading. So instead of $40, half price $20 through New Year's Day. Okay. So if you ask me for a reading by New Year's Day, I'll give it to you for $20, and that goes right to my PayPal or CashApp. Yeah, the dog too.
Yes, it was the dog. It was the dog. I mean, everybody was freaking out that night, but I think the dog abducted.
It makes me laugh with Nutslap though, because I'll think something and I just won't say it, and of course it'll be in the comments because he'll say it. Like, my first thought when I said probably the dog too was not the dog, and then I was like, yeah.
That was a weird night. It was strange.
I love half prices too, because I'm like, you know what? It brings more people into the readings. They get to see what I'm about, what the readings are about, and I make a little bit of money. You know, it's Christmas time and it's going to be a great Christmas, but everyone can use a little extra cash, right? I got to tell you guys what happened to me. Yeah. Give me a second on that, Jules. If this ranch was west of Phoenix, then it has to be right by Fort Huachuca. I never even heard of that. Jules.
I'll have to look that up. Let me write that down.
Yeah, Stephen, write down Jules's question too. Jules, I think I could hook you up. I can give you a text. I'm trying to get rid of some of the excess because I thought I was going to actually sell holiday boxes and I didn't sell any. So I could get really used to get rid of some of the stuff. The problem is the shipping runs almost like between $20 and like $26 just to ship the thing. I don't care about being repaid for the inventory, but I'd like to make a few bucks on it at least. But I put a lot of effort into shopping for the stuff, and you know, I always do my best on those. So if you're interested, I will text you and we'll come to a price that we both agree on, and I'll send you something out. Why not? I even bought these special holiday boxes. They're cardboard, but they say Merry and Bright and have little snowflakes, and I wrap them in Christmas wrapping paper. So I really went all out. I got those crystal lollipops that you really liked. I went out and bought a whole bunch of those so I can give everyone one. So that one.
I was just gonna hit
it. I'll do my best. I was actually talking to, I think it was Nutslap the other night about that, where I was saying that at any given time, there's so much spirit, especially on Wednesday nights here, that sometimes you'll always see me look over as I'm getting a message, right? So I'll stop talking, kind of freeze, because I'm listening and I'm making eye contact with the essence or the energy, and I'm feeling the vibe. But every once in a while, and he's like, I did notice that, you'll see me like look over here and be like, or, you know, like I'll do something that like alerts everybody to the fact that like I'm definitely not alone, and something. And a lot of the time, honestly, like if I'm reading for, this is just an example, say Bat Mom, you know, and then Jules, like great grandmother to the 10th degree, jumps in and is like, I'm here for her, and just goes. Like I have to silently, while listening over here, be like, hey, listen, can you back up a little bit? We're not quite there yet. Give me a few minutes. Or you missed your shot. We're here next Wednesday, you know? So a lot of the times there's stuff like that going on. And, you know, they're always around me. And when you guys are around, you know, me being who I am and doing what I do, I can't help but bring your guys, you know, ancestral energy. You know, as much as I try not to, but I just don't. If I gave you guys every single message that ever came in of like, hi, I'd be here for an entire week straight talking, because it just happens constantly. What's up, Stephen?
I was just going to say, here's something weird. I actually had to back off watching live streams because not just with you, I see stuff behind you all the time, especially when you're doing readings. But now that I go to other live streams, now I'm starting to see stuff more and more on other people's live streams. And it gets to me sometimes because you don't want to say something in chat because they think you're nuts.
Well, that's like,
Especially if it's nothing like this. Like I was watching a gamer the other night and there was something behind him the whole damn time.
Well, we had that experience when we went to my book signing. It wasn't a very eventful night, but it was nice of my sister to do that for me. And we had a nice time hanging out with the people that were there. And Steve and I keep looking at each other because he sees pretty much the same things I see. Sometimes he'll see some stuff that I don't see because I'm blocked. And sometimes I'll see some stuff that just comes in just for me or to me. But for the most part, you know what that's like. You're in the grocery store. The cashier's got 6 dead around her, all trying to talk to her. And you can very easily give her the message, but you're like, do I really want to go that route? I've gotten literally punched in the face for approaching someone with a message before. So I stopped doing it altogether. Carl, what's up, girl?
Hello. Thanks, Blue. Yeah, I will check into that. My daughter's at Fort Riley, and she says she sees stuff all the time now in Kansas.
Wow. Yeah, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say Cherokee and Iroquois. Chiriri Kawasaki. It's like my iPhone. I can't help it. I love you too, Carl. And listen, I told everybody in here I mailed out 28 Christmas cards today, but some of you guys, I do not have your address. If you want a Christmas card, I always write. You guys know me. I like to talk. I like to write. I write a personalized letter in every card. So all you have to do is email me your address. What is that? What was that movie where it's like the shell make Oahu? He used all 3 of his kids' names and like.
Oh no.
It's a really old movie.
Oh my gosh.
Shell Make and Move. I don't remember the name of it, but it was funny. You know what happens because my nails are I used to type with my nail and it would chip the paint off. So I started using the taps of my fingers right here. But what happens is with the laptop, I'll sometimes, hit a side thing or something. I'll glide my finger over it. And then all of a sudden the space bar moves and I don't know that it moves and I keep on typing. It drives me nuts. I'm going to be covering, I think I told you guys, Phantom Cities. So that's going to be interesting. I'm doing some January readings right after this, mainly for my Patreons. I don't think I have any paid ones this month. My friend Deirdre asked me for a free birthday reading. Her birthday was yesterday and I didn't get it out to her only because I had little guy all week. I don't think it's that Shelley doesn't take the advice, Eris. I think it's that,
she just gets slammed with so much at once.
People who didn't grow up with this, it's like you do one thing and then you got to do, what you need, Shelley, honestly. No, you don't crawl into a hole and try to ignore it. You need an energy healing. You need attachments removed. You need cords cut. You need energy healing. Now, I can do virtual energetic healings, but I can't cut cords well. And I tell people that honestly. I'm like, it's $80 for the hour. I will remove the bad energy. I will sever the attachments. But when it comes to cord cutting, I've had people come back and say, hey, and I'm like, oh crap, So I'm learning how to do that slowly, course by course by course. I've been doing it for like a year, and I'm but you need something like that. And I wouldn't even recommend a virtual one for you for the stuff that you're dealing with. And yes, it costs money, but save up. Like, think of it as like this amazing medication. Think of it as like the fountain of youth, because honestly, you're going to feel brand new. Not only are all of these things going to stop for the most part, Shelley, I think you're very sensitive and you're always going to have something. But once you get all those attachments removed, those cords go, once you get that energy healing, I will help you with boundaries, protections, protective mechanisms, the right crystals just to carry in your purse or to put in your pocket. Or, I can't do a lot for you right now because you have so much. Like, I guarantee you, if I were to do a video chat with you, I probably wouldn't even see your face. I wouldn't know what you looked like. Because when I see people with attachments and things like that, like I was explaining to somebody, when I walk outside, it's like wearing dirty glasses where like you guys see, you know, the sunset, you see the world normal. I always see these layers of dust and like grime. And depending on the collective that day is depending on how much of that I'll see. So sometimes I'll walk out in broad daylight and it'll look black. It's not that I can't see the sun, but it's like looking at it through the lens of a sunglass. And that's how I know, okay, there's a lot of bad negative stuff happening. Let me just go back inside. And the same thing with people. I'll see a person where, you know, I'll be looking at them and I'll see this little creature thing pop up from their back and kind of look at me like, get the F out of here, and pop back in. I'll know that person has back problems and probably dealing with some kind of stress because they have an attachment. Okay. But some people have so many of them that they just look like, you know, that little cloud of dust that used to follow Pigpen around in the Charlie Brown cartoons. That's what people look like to me when they have too much. And I'm not strong enough to get rid of all of that. I can do like 10 attachments is like my max, and that's like pushing it.
Right. Now, see, now you said some things about me about learning how to block. Well, I've been trying on things. Now, I've learned that I'm learning now that I am able to block a little bit, but there's just some things that won't let me. But I am starting to learn a little bit more about shutting things out. I'm not really blocking it. I'm just shutting it out.
Not ignoring it. Like,
Right.
you know, so I can't shut everything out completely either.
Right.
And when I do, I can only achieve it for a few minutes at a time because it's a piercing migraine headache.
Right.
But I feel like if you worked more with crystals, I think that you might be able to do better. I know that you have crystals that I've cleaned and saged and charmed for you, like that you're wearing around your neck. You need to sage that if you haven't already, to keep it nice and clean, right? So this little baby right here is what I was talking about when I said I didn't realize the strength, okay, in this crystal. Dragon Septarian. And I haven't worked with it. I got it because it's pretty. Which I do sometimes. I'll work with specific crystals for specific things. But personally, I am going to start working with this. I don't remember what it is, but I remember as I read it, what this crystal is actually about. I was like, oh my gosh, life changer, this crystal. And I have little pieces of it again that I send in the boxes. I have hundreds of these. Like this is raw. What's it called?
You know, I got a bag here. I never even opened it. I wonder if there's a piece.
Hold on, it's raw, not lizardite. Serpentinite, not serpentine, serpentinite, which is different as this is serpentine, the black, right? They have these, oh my gosh, I wanted one so bad, but I didn't want to spend the money. And my mom had already done so much for me for Christmas. I wasn't going to ask her. Because my mom's one of those people where, like, if I'm like, oh, that's really nice, my mom will be like, go ahead, get it. And I'm like, no, I'm good. She's like, the next thing I know, she has it. Hey, Lara. Welcome back, Kat. So they have these things. They're about, what do they look like? They're about this size, I guess I would say. The size of Toby. They're pure crystal, and they're horned owls.
Right.
Carved, like the angels.
Right.
But they had one in Kimbaba Jasper, which is one of my favorite stones. I mean, they had all kinds. I wanted it so bad, but it was $18. And I was like, I don't really have that. So I kind of let it slide, but I'm going back there to get quite a few of them. Hey, darling Deb. Hey, everyone else who just came in. My pixie girl. So, oh my gosh. No, I can't. I was thinking of something, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, you thought it, and everybody saw you thought it. Now you got to say
I was thinking about the little bubbles that Lara sent me. She sent me these Samhain gifts, and first of all, I love that thing that looked like a book, but it was actually you saw I went and got a new one when you were with me. I went and got a real big one, the little book container thing.
Right.
So I had this little thing of bubbles in them, and I said, you know what, RJ likes bubbles. I'm giving it to RJ. He bathed the cat and poured the rest in Ray's drink. So we kind of had to be like, have a talk with him, but I thought of it, and then I'm like, I really don't want to keep mentioning RJ publicly, but it was a funny story. I'll be right back, guys. I have to put lip chap on, and I don't want to do it. Forget it, what I'll hear at the end of this.
I'll do it for you. Wait, where's my chapstick? Just kidding. Where are the owls and what is the store? Yeah, I was going to ask her the same thing. Actually, that sounds like I'd like one of those. Shelly, you're always good, hon.
Hi, Zach.
And I know you worry about us, and that's a lot of it. But Shelly, you got to learn how to calm it down, and you learn to need to calm yourself.
Feed off fear. I tell my mother this. I know it's hard. Trust me. The things
I
that
told
I've
your mother
seen,
this too.
the things that I've seen, guys, throughout my life, I know it's hard. But let me tell you something, Miss Shelley, and I'm trying to convince my mother this too. I know from experience it's not easy. So please don't think this is a judgment or an indictment, okay? It's something I just know will help you. For instance, if you have sleep paralysis. Can you say hi to Zach, please?
Hi, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
So, okay. Say you have an episode of sleep paralysis. We're all terrified, right? If you force yourself to laugh, the entity will get confused and leave. You're not feeding it. It's expecting that fear from you. And that's what these attachments expect. And they cause sickness. They cause mental illness. They cause anxiety. They cause dissociative disorders. They cause addiction. They feed on addiction. So for Eris, you know what? We start getting attachments when we're 8, 9, 10 years old, and they last throughout our entire lives unless we fix the problem. But it's hard because most of the time we don't know that there's a problem. We
and
just
actually,
know
sometimes you grow out of them.
you can, yes. And I was just going to say, sometimes you might know you have back pain, but you don't understand it's because of a trauma attachment from your parents divorcing when you were 7, because you're not thinking about that. But when you were 7, you were thinking about it, and you grew this kind of tulpa attachment type thing. There's a book on Audible. I think it's called The Something Exorcist. It's a woman. She claims to be the only person in the world who's able to do this, which is not true. Actually, I'm going to look it up.
You talked about her before.
No, Jules, they cannot. The laughter covers up your initial fear response, because when you start laughing, your body, you start to trick your body into thinking that it's no longer afraid. When you fake laugh, sometimes it turns into a real laugh. That's the idea. Once you laugh for first of all, it'll snap you out of the paralysis. And second of all, yes, even if they can still feel the fear, it's being overwhelmed by this higher vibrational emotion. Laughter, joy, happiness, yes. Even if you're not authentically feeling it, okay, your body is mimicking it, the thing gets confused and it leaves. So I'm going to look up this lady, because I think this is a book that everyone should listen to and read if you want to know.
Well, you do that. This is going to sound corny, but a lot of people say, you always smile in public. Well, that's why I smile in public, because I try to put off a happy, joyful vibe around the people that I don't know, that I see things with, because a lot of times I think that's why they leave me.
I have a bit of an emergency text. Give me 1 minute, guys.
But that's why I leave. I think they leave me alone is because I always try to, put out a vibe wherever I'm at, and I'm, I am learning to shut some things off, but it's not easy. It's, I've seen stuff since I was probably young, probably 5 or 6 when I really started noticing it. Yeah, it's a coping mechanism, that's for sure. And actually, it's a good coping mechanism. I mean, it's like you can't survive without fear, but you do better with happiness. Yeah, some people do wear like a hyperthop, mask, but yeah, I am the crazy guy laughing and smiling at the store. And actually, it's weird because no matter if I go to the store, everywhere I go, I always have at least 2 people walk up to me and just start talking to me. Never fails. I was at the store today and it was 3 people. One just walked up and just started talking. And then another person by the meat, and then another person in the one of the aisles, and then a person at the cash register. I didn't say, I wave and say hi. I always say good day. And next thing I know, they're holding a conversation with me like they've known me for days. But usually those are the people I see things following. Yeah, I can see the Energized Bunner thing. Yeah, it does, Mike. I'm sure it does. Yeah, that's true, Kat. I know in Canada everybody does. And that's good. That's a little bit of, I think, what's wrong with this world. We're just not talking to each other enough. And we're being too careful. I mean, I understand watching what you say, but sometimes bluntness is good. Ugh. Yes, I have seen the movie Odd Thomas. It's a good movie. I like that movie.
Can I just say, sorry, my sister was messaging me, and we have to stop what we're doing sometimes when family needs us. She was asking for, I thought she was saying something else to me, but she was asking me for Christmas ideas for RJ, but I totally misinterpreted what she was saying. Thank God, because I thought it was an emergency. Odd Thomas. I loved the books. I love the movie. And can I tell you, whoever brought that up is 100% right, because what he calls Bodaks, now Bodaks are actually a thing. I can't tell you off the top of my head what they are, but they are a thing. Those things that he describes are what I see when I look at people and they have attachments. Okay, they all look different.
Yeah,
but they're the same basic
being
smoky, kind of slithery, but some are like short and they're full bodied and they kind of peek out, but they always have that little Casper the Friendly Ghost ice cream at the bottom. Do you guys know what I mean?
Swirl.
The swirl. They always have the swirl, and then they'll come out into whatever they are. Oh, I was looking for that book. Sorry, guys. You know me, dirt all day long.
Cat, Odd Thomas is a really good movie. Actually, I believe most of the streaming services got it on, or two of them at least.
Okay, it's called Sister of Darkness by R.H. Stavis and Sarah Durand. It's 6 hours and 30 minutes for Audible. It's narrated by Sarah Durand, and she claims to be the last modern-day exorcist, or the only modern-day exorcist, which I think is full of poop, because I can do the same thing she does, but I'm not really equipped to. Right. Once I have my spiritual retreat, I will have a whole room dedicated, because you have to burn. You have to know which herbs to burn together. You have to know for how long to burn them. You have to, sometimes you have to go out and find things. You need to know the right crystals. I mean, so much goes into it that I wouldn't be able to do it without setting up shop. Hi, Be Kind. I sent you a Christmas card too. Dang it. Oh, let me tell you guys a little story. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do that, Kat, I'll get to you in 1 second. Small announcement. I will be on a friend's podcast on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. What time's 8 Central? We're going to be in Oracle.
That's 7? Yeah, 7.
Write down what we're going to read for Miss Lara. And Miss Lara, if you want, you can come in and drop the link in chat, so that when we're all done with stream, we can either go back and rewatch it or watch it, because sometimes we end pretty early. Yeah. And I would love to come out and support you. Kat, Odd Thomas is about a guy. The book was written, I think, in the early or late 90s. Who can see these things he calls Bodaks. And when he sees the Bodaks, there's always some natural disaster. So his name is Odd Thomas. It's written by Dean Koontz, and it's just this whole series. 8 books. I think the last one is Saint Odd, where he loses his lover, Stormy Llewellyn, his twin flame. So he goes to a monastery. It's really insane, and he fights them off. It's, Dean Koontz really did an amazing job. I like Dean Koontz anyway. But
I like the Watchers that he wrote.
I would definitely say that Odd Thomas, even throughout my addiction, if I had $10 for drugs, or the Odd Thomas book, $10 at Barnes & Noble, I would go into Barnes & Noble, and I would actually spend my drug money on the Odd Thomas series books. That's how serious I was and am about these books. And they finally made a movie. It kind of flopped, but I thought it was great, because
it wasn't a bad movie.
I didn't think,
my son liked it.
They didn't give it enough, like they do for Stephen King. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know, Lara. That's what I'm saying. We're going to be in Oracle, but if you want to just leave the link, because sometimes Oracle ends early enough that we may be able to come in and. Yeah, I know you're totally two-timing me, Lara. I mean, I thought we had something special, something exclusive. I'm just kidding. I'm excited for you, and I'm sure people will be back and forth. And if you want to, like I said,
Please
post
come
the
in and
link.
drop the link or drop it by me. Come in and drop it early as soon as she puts the site up, and I'll make sure I copy and paste it.
I usually put, yeah, I'm just kidding, obviously. I usually put the stream up between like 5 and 6:30 Eastern. So it's up. So you can come in and drop it early and we'll keep reposting. That way, if someone gets a reading and they want to head out, I'll make an exception for Wednesday because you're on the other channel that they can cheat on me and go over to that channel. And I will definitely check it out at least afterwards, okay?
Oh, I
I
will.
promise
Sure.
we'll give you that support there. So, guys, listen to this, okay? Listen to this one. I get this email and I always ignore these emails, but this one stood out to me because it said it was from Kohl's. So I'm like, okay, I love Kohl's. I have a Kohl's 2-minute walking distance away. Like Kohl's card maxed out, love Kohl's. Their deals on Adidas are spectacular and I love Adidas. So anyway, it says that if I pay $5.95 for shipping, I win this really beautiful lacrosse red crockery pot pan thing I was going to give my mom for Christmas. I read the small print and I even have screenshots. I paid the $5.95 with my PayPal card. And then it says it would show up 5 to 7 business days. So after about 15 business days, I go to Kohl's and I'm like, look, I received this. I want my crockery now. Look, it's right there. You have it in the store. Like I paid for shipping. Give it to me. I'm like, and don't tell me you don't know what this is because I read the small print, all this stuff. They're like, no, you were entered into a drawing to win. I said, well, why did I pay $5.95 for shipping for something that's not being shipped? It should have said $5.95 to enter into this drawing. So I'm fighting, I'm arguing. I'm not getting loud or anything, but I'm getting very annoyed, right? Because I already went through this with a $500 gas card I was trying to win for Ray. I paid like $2 for it and I snapped. So anyway, I didn't snap this time because I'm becoming a better person and learning to treat everyone with kindness despite whether they're kind to me or not. So I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what? I'm going to eat the $5.95. It is what it is. The other night, I think it was Friday night, I look on my PayPal and I had been charged $55 from this company that makes this red, truly awesome lacrosse crockery. So they charged me for the crockery that I allegedly had won or entered a draw. Such confusion. So I call PayPal the next day and I said, I'm definitely disputing this charge. I've never done this in the 4 years I've had this particular PayPal card. I'm like, look, I have to. I'm like, but the guy's name was Dominique. I'm calling you out, Dominique, a guy named Dominique. I'm like, if this is going to cause any kind of hold, lock on my card, if I need a new card or account number now, please tell me because I'll wait until after Christmas to have to deal with all of this. I'm like, so let me know and I'll wait a week to dispute the charge. He's like, no, not at all. He's like, it's not even a big deal. He's like, you'll hear back from us within 2 weeks of whether or not we're going to give you your money back or whatever. I'm like, okay. Immediately take RJ to go get pizza. I'm sitting there. I use my PayPal card and it says, not declined, hold. So I called him up and I'm like, hey, so I just spoke to Dominique and he said that he's like, I don't know. The guy's name was Leon. He's like, I don't know why he told you that because the minute you dispute a charge, he's like, we cancel your card and you have to get a new card. I'm like, well, all the money I have in the world, which wasn't true, but almost true, is on my PayPal card. I'm like, that's also how I get paid and how I automatically pay all my bills every month. He's like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, thank you for being sorry. I'm like, but you can stop spewing random, generic, like real.
There's no humanity with some of these
and
people.
apologies to me. I'm like, you can tell me how I'm supposed to get to my pay and my money. He's like, yeah, I'm really sorry that he gave you the wrong information. I was like, so it's just locked? He's like, well, you'll get your new card within the week. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is not acceptable. I'm freaking out. Like the owner of the pizza place comes over and gives me a free slice of pizza and soda for RJ. Like I'm so embarrassed at this point because I'm keeping my cool, but I'm really angry. Like I was shaking. Then I realized I'm like, okay, I have my bank account hooked up to PayPal. Can I take the money out? He's like, yeah, anything that comes in, you could take out. I'm like, why didn't you suggest that to me? Why didn't you suggest to me to put it into my PayPal? I'm like, and why was I lied to? I'm like, I want to make a complaint against Dominique. He's like, well, I'm going to make a note. I'm like, no. I don't want you to write that I want to make a complaint. I'm like, I want to speak to someone in a supervisory position to make a complaint. I never got anyone. They kept disconnecting me. And I would have been completely and totally screwed until that new card shows up. So I needed to get that out and let you guys know.
Yeah, because they do pull these scams.
Yeah, it usually is. I know. But listen, Blue Crossroads. I even read the small print. I even read it to make sure because again, I had gotten duped with the gas card like 8 months ago. Yes, we did talk about the Odd Thomas movie. Yeah, it really is. It's like doing the chat with Amazon customer service where they're like, I'm so sorry you experienced that. And I'm like, please stop spewing generic responses. I'm like, are you even human? Do you understand? And I try so hard not to be rude, guys. I really do. But everything you say, they're just like, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. It's like, can you stop being sorry and just help me solve the problem?
Well, sometimes I understand because they hear that crap all day and they get scammed too. But it's like, man, you still got to have some humanity. Your customer service.
Exactly.
Our customer service. I know you still, no matter how upset and how annoying it is, you got to be nice. You got to be polite, and you got to help the person.
That's how exactly. They are automatically generated responses, and I call them out on it all the time. But so finally now I know with Amazon customer service, it is better to just call them. Then they're like, oh, we'll credit your account, keep the item that showed up in 3 sizes too big, and we'll give you your money back in Amazon credit, but you can only use it for stuff sold and shipped by Amazon, which is out of 50 million products, maybe 500,000 products. Yeah. So I don't even know how to, I'm so fed up, but at the same time, I just don't know what to do. So I just want to tell you guys, if you have a disputed claim on PayPal, make sure you link a bank account to the PayPal.
It's always smart to do it to all
card. It's smart to do it anyway, but link it before you dispute the claim so you have access to your monies, okay? I always said I couldn't do customer service, but I was a waitress for almost 16 years. And every place I worked, I will say, I was told all the time that I was the best waitress because money's involved, guys. And you're dealing with people's food and stuff. And I remember I'd hear them whispering, don't piss the waitress off. And I'm like, I would never do that. I would never do that. I've served my worst enemies, exes, people I couldn't stand. I would never stoop so low as to mess with someone's food because I wouldn't want it done to me. Do you know what I mean?
We always had a motto when I was running Bonanza, and that's if they do something so bad that you have to mess with the food, you better get it approved first.
I couldn't bring myself to do it because I eat out too much, and I would always be. I know that's not how karma works, but what goes around does come around, guys, and that's why, I've really been trying in the past few months to be mindful. To even if someone comes at me in an unkind way, I'll set someone straight. Don't get me wrong, but number one, I can't stay mad to save my life. I'm over things literally in 5 minutes. I really, really am. There's nothing I've forgiven everybody who's ever done anything for me almost immediately. And then I don't understand why they're so weird around me because I'm like, no, it's totally cool. It's not cool what you did, but I forgive you. We're good. And people don't understand that. But I've been really.
You know how many times I've been so calm? You see me in action. And people look at me and go, aren't you pissed? And it's what good does it do?
I've been trying to be really mindful of approaching everyone with kindness, especially the people who are approaching me with hostility. And here's the reason, right? And it was a meme, and it really, a meme literally helped to change my way of thinking. It said, when you realize that people's actions towards you have more to do with them than it does with you, that's when you've learned the meaning of grace. Italian or a Capricorn? No, but I was raised by a 100% full-blooded, mobbed-up Italian stepfather. And I have some Capricorn. I have no Earth in my chart, but Capricorn is my saving grace in my 11th house, which is why I'm not a slovenly weirdo. Handsy, yeah, bada bing.
Bada bing.
I just like showing off my nails. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she does.
I do, though. Aren't they pretty?
They always look good.
Italian or Capricorn. Growing up, because of where I lived, I was always, people would come up to me and they still do it, start speaking Arabic to me. And it's weird because the people who are of Arabic descent or Muslim descent in South Patterson, which I call little Saudi Arabia, they're usually covered in something and I wasn't because I'm not a Muslim, but they would still come up and start speaking, or Spanish. I got Spanish all the time. And Larry, yeah, I'm starting to understand that. Like, even with arguments that I'm having, or like people coming at me, like, I'm trying to only focus. Like, I'm not saying like, well, you did this, 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 and this. I'm saying, I'm sorry, I did this, 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 and this. And, how can I fix what I did? Because I find that like telling someone like you did this puts them on the defense immediately, right? Or like, it sounds like you're blaming them for your behavior. So when you take accountability, in my opinion, for your own behavior, you only focus on your behavior, which is really hard to do because sometimes you are doing something in reaction to what the other person's doing. Where's the fine line between the reason I did something and the excuse that I did something, right? Between there being an actual reason you did A, B, and C, and therefore I did this, to just blaming it on the other person's behavior. And that's the line I'm trying to find, where do I go from reasoning to blaming? Because we never want to do that. I find the best way to talk to someone is to say like, not in like a blameful way, like to say like, I feel like A, B, and C because, or you doing that made me feel this way. Not you did that and really,
Right.
to really watch my words. And luckily I love words. Words are my friend. I'm an author, and my mom always says, she's like, wow, you really like know what you're saying. And I'm like, yeah, I choose my words very carefully, because not choosing them and being nasty and spiteful with my words out of reaction towards someone else got me in a lot of trouble and caused me a lot of pain and heartache. And I want to live by, like, if I won't treat my boss that way for fear of losing my job, we shouldn't be treating our loved ones that way. If you wouldn't say it to your boss with your job on the line, you should not be saying it to those closest to you, myself included. You're not going to tell your boss, go F yourself, you effing a-hole, I
I would
hate
say
you.
if you can't say it, if you can't take what they say to you, then don't say it back. It goes both ways always.
Be kind. Thank you. It's like you said, a wise way to try to go through life, because it's very, very hard. But I do feel like I'm going through a spiritual awakening myself and coming out of a dark night of the soul.
I think
You know what I
she's really
mean?
starting to feel the understanding. I think she's also understanding truly unconditional love, because unconditional love is the hardest. I
Yeah.
mean, to
And
be unconditionally loving, it's
it
hard to
is.
do.
It's very hard. Paranormal Pixie, you're absolutely right. And that's something we all need to learn. And this is the kind of thing that I want to discuss on my channel. And I think as I get more into, not that I want to teach because I'm still learning it, but like to discuss things like this with you guys and listen to your advice and to hear how, you've gotten through some tough times and things that you may have said. Words have energy. They can cause harm to the energetic body, and they can also cause attachments. I spent most of my childhood walking on eggshells, trying not to offend or upset anybody. So that has a lot to do with the reason why I can't stay mad at people, because staying mad at, say, my father or my stepmother caused me a lot of pain and suffering, because who was I to have an opinion or a feeling or a thought? So when you spend your childhood being the hero child and walking on eggshells, not when I lived with my mom, but when I was very young and lived with my dad and my stepmom, I had this total fear of offending or bothering in any way. And that's something that attachment that I have, an energetic attachment of like this fear of being rejected because I'm too emotional, and you're right. Don't beat yourself up when you fail. And you're right. Be kind. Only the Holy Creator is capable of 100% unconditional love. It is worthwhile goal for us to strive for. Yeah. And I've
Yes,
been getting this advice from my guides and from spirit my entire life. But my thing was also, well, they're treating me this way. That is the worst reason or excuse in the entire world, guys. I will say that too. An eye for an eye and the whole world would be blind. And it's something you have to work toward every day. You have to really want. So cord cutting Batmom is okay. Paranormal Pixie. She said, "Be right back." Kaylee's just stole briefly. Cord cutting is, so when you have soulmates, like RJ always say is my soulmate. one of them. We have a few. I think we can have up to 5. Some people have up to 10, and they're while we're and wherever you think that we go. So just say heaven for argument's sake. So when you're in heaven, you and these 5 and or however many people chart your path, right? And they say, okay, we're going to come into your life at this time so you can learn these lessons, and you're going to help us learn these lessons. We're going to meet at this time for us to learn these lessons. And then you either part ways or, like a mother and son relationship. Hopefully we never have to part ways. You have chords. With your twin flame, you have a totally different chord. You go throughout lifetimes with this person. Sometimes you meet them, you fall in love. It's almost always that you fall in love, but sometimes you don't make it. I mean, life is life. You could be with your twin flame and get divorced from them and move on, right? But most of the time, it's a true love situation. And if you're lucky enough, you'll always be pulled. You usually do meet them in a lifetime. You have a chord. But if you get attached, like a boyfriend or a significant other that you're very emotionally in tune with, or even very sexually in tune with, you create chords. Now, once you break up, the cord does not go away. So you could still be inadvertently and unconsciously picking up on emotions, feelings, negative and positive, from your ex that you were with 30 years ago, and not even realize that's what's happening.
I still pick up on my ex all the time.
Because you have that. But I'm talking about, like, you can have a fling and physically, passionately connect with someone. Now you have a cord with this random person.
Right. Okay.
So you go in and you get them cut and removed. There are guided meditations for you to be able to do it yourself, but I don't really believe you can do it. You can do it, but it's not going to last. You need a professional, like a Reiki master, would be able to cut cords. There are people that specialize in it. I am learning how to do it, but again, without the proper setup, I wouldn't be able to do that for a while. Yes, absolutely.
That's what I was just going to say. Yes.
A soulmate can be an animal. It's not always the case. There's a different term for animals that are soulmates. It's not technically a soulmate. It's some form of some form of attachment, though. Yes, quantum entanglement. Welcome, Roger. Batmom, yeah, literally, and that's the kind of thing that I worry about for myself. I try to be aware of, like, random emotions, like, why am I feeling this way? Where is this coming from? Shelly, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I love you so much, but I don't know, baby. If the notebook starts flipping, you need to get, and I send these out in all my boxes as well, the first ones that I send you anyway. So it's black tourmaline and selenite. I have these in bulk, and I do charm them and clean them, okay, for your pleasure. This is something, or even just this piece of black tourmaline, that you would put on top of that notebook to take that energy. One of these under your bed, a selenite stick, and one of these, a piece of this in each corner of each room of your house, okay? Did I give you moms? Be kind. Let me text you the proper address, okay? I don't remember if I gave you. I think I gave you my mom's address, but we'll be sure. I will message it to you. Stephen, can you take a note of that so I don't forget? Because you know how I do.
Now I'm a secretary dragon.
Yeah, he is a secretary dragon. Be kind. If you have my mom's address, then that would be the address to send to. And thank you. I appreciate you. I did send you a card, and you are on my list for boxes. You write it down, though, just in case. I'll just resend it. But if you have it, then you definitely have it. So, guys, we're going to wrap up because I do have the January readings to do. Paranormal Pixie, I can't wait to really connect with you and vibe. It seems like every time I feel like I'm on this upward trajectory, something else happens that brings me right back down into, like, lack of motivation. Not, I'm working on it. He is the bestest Secretary Dragon. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to try to put out a pre-recorded on Thursday. We'll see if that works. Monday night stream, topic discussion, random chit chat and chill. Live from another dimension, actually, is what I'm calling it. Executive, absolutely. You can come up from the basement.
When I wear my tie.
Be kind, me too, sweetheart. But I'm always here, and I'm always sending light and love, and trying to make sure that everybody understands that they deserve kindness and respect and love. And they deserve it most from themselves. And that's kind of the message I've been pushing, Can't get good help these days. Yeah, he's all right. Darling Deb, we're so glad you found it too. And so I'm going to try to put that pre-recorded out on Thursday morning because I think that's going to be a better schedule. Monday, topic discussion content. Wednesday, definitely Oracle. And then Thursday, I'll put a show out in the morning. And if we're able to stream at night, we'll do that too. Guys, don't forget to like, please. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I do love you guys. Be blessed. And just have, I'll see you before then, but just keep the holidays in your heart, man. Whatever holiday you celebrate, if you don't celebrate, find a reason for the season and just kind of have some fun. Yes, I will see you guys next time. Steven, I'll talk to you later. I'm going to get some of those readings done.
And we'll see you Wednesday.
Smoochie, right. Absolutely. Absolutely, positively. Live from New Jersey, Gemma, out. Oh, I actually have to hit a button. Okay. Yes. And